Back to the Pet Project with your host, Tammy Trujillo. Get down.
We are going to have Liz Blackman on next week again because, boy, we were talking during the break and we're all sitting here going, gosh, she had some things to say about protecting your pet from getting lost that we haven't even thought about. And she's the expert in it. She knows. So please, if you go to our Facebook page, Tammy Trujillo's Pet Project, we have links up to helpforpets.com and the centerforlostpets.com. And those are two resources you cannot be without. We're getting the holidays. We're having lots of people coming over, lots of activity at the house. That door keeps going open. It's just begging for disaster, and that's the last thing you want to have happen to you and your pet. So Liz Blackman, thank you so much. She's got some great ideas. We're going to have her back next week so we can talk more. We talk about dogs and we talk about cats, but we rarely talk about horses. I love horses so much. Horses are so fantastic, but I don't know much about them, so I'm going to learn a lot of stuff today. On the line with us right now is Charla Sanders, and she is with the Second Race. She's the founder of the Second Race. And I discovered the Second Race driving down the freeway the other day. And there was a horse trailer, and it said Second Race, give racehorses a second chance. I thought, what is this? So we had to get her on. Charla, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, how did this all get started? Because your whole goal is taking former racehorses who are done with their racing career for whatever reason and getting them homes, just like you do a dog or a cat.
Exactly.
How did it begin?
Well, it began for me as just having a love for horses all of my life and being a racing fan and just really wondering what happens to a racehorse once their careers are over with. And as I became more involved in going to the racetrack and learning more and meeting more people, it just became more and more of a curiosity for me. And then, of course, learning some more things that, were kind of negative, too, about what could happen to a racehorse. So I decided after the economy went bad and I had lost my job, I was in management of a mortgage company, that I would take a leap of faith. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I would take a leap of faith in 2009, and I started the Second Race and just decided to follow my passion and see what I could do to help ex-racehorses.
That's fantastic. I mean, turning something bad into something positive. Good for you.
Well, thank you.
How has it gone? Because, I mean, how many racehorses are we talking about retire each year? Is it a lot or is it a small number? Give us some ideas of the proportions of the situation.
Well, thousands of racehorses literally across the United States enter their racing careers and exit their racing careers throughout the United States and Canada. And so it is a huge problem as to what are we going to do with them afterwards. Unlike a racing dog, where you can put them in your apartment, you really can't do that with a racehorse. So it's important to remember that they're athletes and they can do other things, providing they haven't been, too terribly injured. Mm-hmm. And they can go on to other careers. And so that's one of the focuses of the Second Race is we like to try to find homes where they can move on to be hunter jumpers or go into polo, barrel racing. I mean, there's a million things that they can do. And they're useful beyond their racing days.
Now, how old is the average racehorse when it retires?
Well, unfortunately, I think the national average is a racehorse will have 4 starts in its entire career.
Oh my.
And it starts, a racehorse can start as early as 2 with racing. So, a horse that's not competitive or something happens, it can be done by the time it's 3 or 4.
Oh, my goodness.
Horses, yes, and horses can live till they're 25 or 30 years old.
Right.
So, yes, so it's definitely a management problem. But there's many organizations like mine that, do want to help horses and come up with some different solutions for them.
So if a racing horse, I know I've worked with the racing greyhounds, and at the end of the season, they go collect them from the tracks. Tell us how the program works for you with Second Race.
I have owners and trainers and different horsemen and even some management people that will give me a call. In California, where I'm at, racing goes on all year long.
Right.
It doesn't really have seasons like it does in some other states. So I'm called literally a couple of times a week, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week about a horse that needs to be retired.
Wow.
What I do then is I take the information. If I'm local to where that horse is, I'll go and actually see it. I'll find out about it, find out about its temperament, what the trainer and the veterinarian think is a good solution for the next step for the horse. I will then evaluate it, take pictures, and then start the process. I use social media, Facebook, Twitter, many forms of networking that really help us. And we are able to then send out those pictures and the information of that horse throughout, the United States, thousands of times over, and we're able to find a home for these ex-race horses pretty quickly.
So a horse here might end up across the country.
Exactly, and that happens often. We do have an application process. We do a background check. We have that horse is protected with an adoption agreement, and our group, the Second Race, will take a horse back if for some reason it's not a good fit or if something happens in people's personal lives. We just want to really be an advocate for that horse for the rest of its life.
This is a wonderful service. I had no idea you guys were out there. Like I said at the intro, I saw the horse trailer. I thought, this is fantastic. But it makes perfect sense because, like any athlete, there's a point at which they can't perform anymore. They got to do something.
Exactly.
Now, what about a horse that may be retiring because of an injury?
We are able to help them as well. It depends on how severe that injury is. We have a foster program that we started in 2010 through the generosity of a couple people that were in the industry that wanted to have a way of giving back. So they donate a portion of their property and some stalls or a barn to us, and we're able to take in horses as long as we have the funding to, help sustain that horse while it is recuperating. Once it's ready to go, then we do the same process again. We take the pictures and then we, place it out in our network, and we start looking for a home for that horse. And as we have donations that help with that, we're able to take in more and more horses. Currently, we are providing care for 15 of them, and a couple of them are almost ready to go. So, fingers crossed, hooves crossed, we can get them some new homes for the holidays.
That is fantastic work. I am so glad to know about you. We have your link up on Tammy Trujillo's Pet Project. We'll put it up on our website, thepetproject.com, and your website, thesecondrace.com, another great place to go. Thank you so very much, Charla Sanders with The Second Race here on The Pet Project, the show your pet wants you to listen to on CRN.